Before empires ruled the world, before flags were raised, before borders were drawn, there was always one thing: a pattern. History is not random. Greatness is not accidental. Empires did not rise because of luck. They rose because certain decisions were made again and again. Every empire you have ever studied, Rome, Persia, Ottoman, Mongol, British, American, different cultures, different religions, different eras, but behind all of them, the same success pattern. Today we are going to break that pattern down, not as history, but as a lesson, because the same laws that build empires, build individuals, build businesses, build legacies. If you understand this, you stop chasing motivation, you start building power. Let's begin at the beginning. Every empire starts invisible. Rome was once a weak village, surrounded by enemies, constantly attacked, constantly underestimated. The Mongols were scattered tribes, living in harsh lands, ignored by the civilized world. The British Empire started on a small island, with fewer resources than its rivals. Here's the first rule. Empires begin where excuses end. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They move while conditions are hostile. This is where most people fail. They wait for confidence. They wait for money. They wait for approval. Empires wait for none of that. They act while afraid. They act while weak. They act while unknown. The second pattern is discipline. Every empire mastered discipline before domination. Roman soldiers trained every single day, even during peace, even when there was no war. They carried heavier equipment in training, so real battle felt easier. Work when no one is watching, when there is no reward yet. Most people want power, but hate discipline. Empires understand something different. Freedom is built through structure. Without discipline, talent dies, vision fades, dreams collapse. This is why motivation alone never builds anything. Discipline does. The third pattern is long-term thinking. Empires think in decades, not dopamine. Rome built roads that lasted thousands of years, not to impress but to expand. The British Empire invested in navy power for generations. They did not care about quick wins. They cared about control. Modern people think in days. Empires think in lifetimes. If your decisions only serve comfort today, you will never build anything that lasts. Empires sacrifice the present to dominate the future. The fourth pattern is identity. Empires create a strong identity before they create dominance. Roman citizens believed they were superior, not because of arrogance, but because of values, duty, honor, loyalty, sacrifice. The Ottomans built an identity around purpose and order. The Mongols built an identity around resilience and unity. Identity is what you do when no one forces you. If you see yourself as weak, you will act weak. If you see yourself as disciplined, you will behave disciplined. Empires win internally before they win externally. This is where personal success begins, not in your environment, but in your identity. The fifth pattern is adaptation. Every empire that survived learned to adapt. Rome adopted enemy weapons, enemy tactics, enemy ideas. They did not let pride block progress. Empires that refused to adapt collapsed. The world changes, markets change, rules change. Who cling to old comfort get crushed by new reality. Period. Adaptation is not betrayal. It is survival. The sixth pattern is pain tolerance. Every empire endured brutal suffering, wars, famines, betrayals, loss. They did not quit because it was hard. They expected it to be hard. Pain was not a sign to stop. It was a sign to harden. Modern culture teaches comfort. Empires were built on endurance. If discomfort makes you quit, you were never meant to build anything big. The seventh pattern is leadership. Empires are not built by crowds. They are built by leaders who take responsibility, leaders who make decisions under pressure, leaders who stand alone, leaders who accept blame. Weak leadership collapses nations. Strong leadership creates direction. Leadership is not popularity. It is accountability. This applies to your life too. Yourself. You cannot lead anything. Wake up earlier. Train harder. Learn daily. Control emotions. That is leadership. The eighth pattern is strategic patience. Empires do not rush chaos. They wait for the right moment. They study enemies. They prepare quietly. They strike decisively. Most people announce goals before building power. Empires build power silently. Silence is a weapon. Let people underestimate you. Let results speak. The ninth pattern is systems. Empires do not rely on individual effort alone. They build systems, supply chains, communication, training, administration, not motivation. If your success depends on how you feel today, you are already failing. Build systems that work even when you are tired. The 10th pattern is belief in inevitability. Inevitable. This belief shapes behavior. Decisions become bolder. Fear becomes smaller. When you believe success is coming, you behave differently. Doubt weakens execution. This does not mean arrogance. It means commitment. No empire ever rose saying, "Let's see what happens." They said, "We are coming." Now here is the most important part. Every empire eventually falls, not because the pattern stopped working, but because they abandoned it. They chose comfort over discipline, short-term pleasure over long-term vision, pride over adaptation. The lesson is clear: success is rented, and rent is due every day. You cannot live off past victories. This applies to nations, businesses, and individuals. Your past success does not guarantee future survival. Daily discipline, identity, adaptation, endurance, leadership. This is not history. This is instruction. You do not need an army to build an empire. You need control. Control of your time, control of your habits, control of your mind. Every great empire started as a decision to move when it was uncomfortable. You are standing at the same point. The difference is, most people wait. Empires act. History does not remember comfort seekers. It remembers builders. The same pattern that built empires can build your life, if you have the courage to follow it.